in that position when you're essentially a TikTok creator and you're being asked to go on a news outlet to talk about the political stance between America and China. I'm like, why am I here?
Yes.
When I'm not a controversial figure in the slightest. I literally make poo jokes with my son. That's basically what I do on TikTok.
Me and Mum were sitting there. We were in hysterics because we both were thinking, if I was in that seat, it would be like something out of
Oh my God,
Evan,
the shit that would come out of your
what
mouth
is it?
would be hilarious.
Evan
Almighty. Blah, 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 blah,
So yeah,
blah,
it
blah,
would
blah.
literally be like,
Oh no, Bruce
what do
Almighty.
you think of this?
Shh, don't tell Mum. Hello and welcome to Don't Tell Mum. My name's Barney.
And I'm Jamie.
And this is the 8th most listened to parenting podcast in
Romania.
Romania. Have you ever been to Romania?
We say this every single time.
I know, but I thought to myself about Romania when you first said it off camera. And for me, personally, the only thing I know about Romania is that Andrew Tate lives there. And that's not really a good thing, is it?
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Why does he live in Romania? It's
Because he can
Romania.
avoid the police.
Oh.
But unfortunately, he got arrested in Romania recently, I think.
Oh, I've gone to Lithuania.
That's really cool. You know, that's not Romania.
Yeah, but it's quite close.
Are you sure that Lithuania is close to Romania?
Are you not
How sure are you
Are
that
you not
Lithuania...
sure?
You said it, not me. So how close do you think Lithuania is to Romania, Jamie?
I'm just going to eat very slowly.
Until I forget about what I just
Until you
asked.
realise after this podcast you are not going to read my good books.
Welcome to Don't Tell Mum, everyone. My name's Barney, this is Jamie, and we chat all things parenting. I feel like we haven't really done like a heart-to-heart or maybe like a little bit of an explanation to a lot of people who might be new that come and listen or watch this podcast on YouTube. For those of you wondering, our audio is on Spotify, and on YouTube you can watch the video version of this podcast. We talk all things parenting, parenting life, what's happening with our 2-year-old son Rocket at this time, and we share a lot of our clips on TikTok and Instagram. And of course, YouTube Shorts, don't we, Jamie?
Yes, we do. And you want to know something really exciting? Barney actually got famous on an app that's potentially going to be banned in the next few weeks. It probably already is if you're watching this in a few weeks. So
yeah, TikTok have made an announcement recently. Let's just dive straight in that they're going to be banning it in the US. President Biden had been made aware that there was a bill that was going to be passed in the Senate. The bill went through Congress all the way up to the Senate in the United States. The Senate decided on a 53-46 vote that TikTok should be banned in the US. And then basically after that happened, people said, right, don't fret. Joe Biden, the current president of the United States, has to sign this. And if he signs it, then it could be bad, but he still has to sign it. And if he does, a lot of the users of the app aren't going to trust him or aren't going to like him, so then he might lose the next presidential election. What happens? In the same day, Joe Biden signs the bill.
You know why,
So
though?
it is going on.
You know
Go on,
why?
tell me.
because he doesn't want to be president anymore. This is his way out. It's nothing to do
I
with TikTok.
don't
it's
think
a
that's the
selfish
reason.
choice. So Barney goes on.
He could just not run for president again. You do know that.
You go on Sky News. He's asked to go on Sky News. This is hilarious.
I did get asked to go on Sky News.
And they turn around and they turn around.
Oh, they turned around. Let's do a turnaround clock for today so we can actually see how many times Jamie says turned around. So there's one.
Okay. Barney is on Sky News. They ask him the question, are you worried about your data being sold on this app because of what's happening? And he turns around and says...
This is going to be fun.
It's so hard not to say it. He then says...
I can tell you what I said. Yeah, they asked me about, how much concern there is around data being shared, basically from the Chinese Communist Party, essentially extracting data from apps that are owned by China because they're legally allowed to, or, they can just demand it if they want to. That's what America is essentially worried about. And I just basically said that every single app has the same access to the same amount of data. What they choose to do with that data is kind of down to them, ultimately. They've said, the TikTok CEO was in Congress and said that we cannot and we will not share data. And all the Congress said back to them, the congressman was just like, we don't believe you. So it was like, well, this is a bit of a null and void situation happening in Congress, because you're having me here to make a statement. I'm giving you the statement and you're just saying, I don't believe you.
But wasn't there that thing that went through when you go onto a website and it's like you have to click a button?
Yeah, it's GDPR. So that's basically data protection. You can either decide to allow a company to have access to your data, which is like your email address, your name, your date of birth, and maybe something that you're interested in. They can follow. They can follow your click patterns and basically then customize ads. So what the Americans say is the way that they use their data is they use their data to like sell you things. So they'll utilize your data your habits that you do on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, Facebook and Instagram, to sell you ads, to customize ads for you, so that it is there's more likelihood of you buying something. Whereas they say in China, what they apparently do would be to use your data, date of birth, email, habits, in order to like influence the country and to infiltrate you and, you know, do something damaging. And it's like, well, it's all just speculation. So
I saw something really funny last night, and it was a TikTok of a woman turning around.
Oh, that's 3.
I had new tropics today, and they are not working.
You had
this is
brain
not real.
food, they call it, don't they? Like
Literally
brain
not
food.
working. I'm like, it's smush up here today. I don't know what's going on. And I've taken a memory pill, and it is not working, people, and I've had 2 coffees. Doesn't help. So,
Can I also point the attention to the camera of the way that you're crossing your legs right now?
I know,
This is like extra. I like it. Sorry, continue.
X marks the spot. So...
That's good. I like that. That was quick thinking. There you go.
There you go.
Well done.
So she goes on and she does a TikTok reel saying, so America, what are you doing at the moment in government? And they said, well, instead of doing, you know, sorting out the gun crime and sorting out our national health system and sorting out the homelessness problem, we're trying to shut down TikTok. And you know what annoyed me about that whole reel? You can speak your voice on TikTok and it actually gets spread further, which is really, really refreshing. But number 2, it's almost like America doesn't want people to have information from the app.
It's
so
having
that's
control.
why they're shutting it down,
it's
because
having
they want to control the news outlets.
over the distribution of the information. That's what it is. It's actually, it's the lack of control, or the lack of, having the kind of, having the red button when it comes to the information distribution.
They had proof that Facebook was doing exactly that during the COVID times and when Trump went into
I don't know if it was
power.
proof, but essentially what they were
Where
doing is
you
they put
were.
Facebook on blast, and they had Mark Zuckerberg in Congress basically saying to them, like, if someone wanted to, in your company, could they access like a back door into the private information section of your website and then extract people's information? And he was put in a very difficult position, because Mark Zuckerberg could have just been like, no. But being truthful, someone could do that that's part of the Facebook security team. Mm-hmm. But if they did, they would be fired and possibly arrested. So it's like, it's a difficult thing, because the way that Facebook was being put on blast. No, I don't think Facebook actually distributed people's information.
It depended on where you were on location. So if you were in a certain part of America, you were fed different types of news outlets to...
Okay, so you're saying that like the bias of the news, depending on where you live, so like whether it's like more red, in America they have red and blue, don't they? Liberal
like
and
what is on
Democrat.
your algorithm, and I have it on Instagram as well, so it is Facebook. Like I see Britney, DJ stuff, and
but that's an
baby
algorithm
stuff.
just learning what you like to click on. That's
Well,
not
exactly what TikTok
but
is.
that's not
It's
using
selling
your
your data.
information. That's literally
selling
just like
their
it's your
data to
habits.
advertisements, and the advertisement pinpointing who's going to buy the stuff.
So
that
if you
is
talk about-
exactly what Instagram is doing. And you made a very good point on national TV, on Sky TV, not BBC, even though I say it all the time, on Sky TV, saying every app does it. I think it's where it's actually from. And I was like, hell to the merry yes.
Yeah, this is not app issue. This is America versus China issue. So that's essentially, when you get down to the bare bones of it, this is a lack of trust of America versus China. That's all it is.
Damn good.
Thank you so much.
I'm so proud
Sky
of you.
News, get me on there. I'm not going to lie though, being on the receiving end of an interview, and when it's a personal opinion about a controversial topic, I was crapping my pants.
I know
in
you
that
were.
interview.
You seemed quite nervous.
My mouth was dry, my heartbeat was in my ears, because
kept
I'm
going,
used to being the interviewer. I'm used to asking the questions. I'm used to introducing the show. I'm used to going, okay, so let's talk about this. But being brought onto a show when you're having to talk about a controversial topic, when I'm not a controversial figure in the slightest, I literally make poo jokes with my son. That's basically what I do on TikTok.
Me and Mum were sitting there. We were in hysterics because we both were thinking, if I was in that seat, it would be like something out of...
Oh my God,
Evan,
yeah. The shit that would come out of your
what
mouth
is it?
would be hilarious.
Evan
Almighty. Blah, 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 blah,
So, yeah,
blah,
it
blah,
would
blah.
literally be like,
Oh no, Bruce
what
Almighty.
do you think of this? DJ? I'm a DJ. DJ? I'm a DJ. I make music. I'm a DJ. That is literally, that would come out of my mouth.
That's true.
And you held it so well together, but we did think you were a little bit nervous.
Yeah, of course I was. But I mean, I think anyone would be in that position when you're essentially a TikTok creator and you're being asked to go on a news outlet to talk about the political stance between America and China. I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
So they wanted me to be
And
there
you
essentially
work in
to
China
be
as well.
they wanted me to be like a voice of like TikTok creators, to be like, how is this affecting the creator? So I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. Large portion of my audience is in America, so it will affect the amount of monetization that I can do on the app. So it will affect my income. So that's a big like detrimental impact to my livelihood. And, you know, being able to make money essentially on social media has become a big part of my life. And then it got down to it. They then got a politician on and then asked me my point of view on what the politician just said. And I was like, why are you asking me to shit on like a guy that used to represent Donald Trump in like the House of Lords but in
Mum went,
America?
oh, he's really big, isn't he? Like, big deal.
Yeah.
And then you turn
He was like,
around.
That's for.
By the way, what is this? I've just realised.
That's the thing that we spoke about in
but it's
our latest YouTube video.
I think it's getting worse.
It's just, you know, baby hairs. I don't know. Maybe you cut it when you did
I
the fringe.
didn't cut it. No, I think I ripped it from DJ headphones.
Ripped it?
Because when I'm like
clump.
playing and I rip it.
Damn.
Pull my headphones off.
Anyway, back to our regular scheduled program.
Yeah.
Hi, Jamie.
How's
How you doing?
Rocket?
Yeah, what's new with Rocket? Should we talk about what's new with him?
We were away. We were in Egypt. We haven't even spoken about being in Egypt.
That was going to be my next question.
Wow.
What's new with
I got
Rocket
there
was going to be
first.
about the ball pit you've decided to purchase for him. Jamie makes impulse buys when it comes to our son, which can be detrimental to our family life and can also be detrimental to my mental health. So she decided to go out while I don't even know what I was doing. I think I was streaming or something, and came downstairs to a ball pit in the middle of our living room, and our son losing his marbles and just launching these little plastic balls all over our living room. So thank you for that.
He had a pure temper tantrum yesterday and I didn't know what he was talking about because he still can't. He'll just make up words when he tries to figure out what something is. So, for instance, perfect example, I'll ask him, what is this called? And it's like a teddy bear. And he, instead of him saying like a normal name word, he goes, Lakamsim. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, he does say, like,
Slackloom.
he just, like, makes up what. Do you know why? It's because you do that stupid thing with him.
Yeah, I do that
It's because
stupid
you're like,
thing with him.
and then he has
And
to
then he
copy it.
laughs.
Yeah, so when you ask him questions and he does that, don't be surprised. And then you had a go at me earlier because you're like, he can't speak properly. I'm like, why do you think that is?
Because I turn around.
Oh, that's a 5. Gonna get to double digits, guys.
Pound in the jar.
Double digits, people. We're gonna
We
get
need
there.
a pound in the jar, guys. We need a pound in the jar.
He
Remember we did that?
turned
If you've all listened to our first episode, you will know the reference of pound in the jar. And I said, if we ever had merchandise, we would have to have a pound in the jar.
Yeah, maybe just like a t-shirt that says pound in the jar, or like a picture of a jar with a pound going into it. Something like that. But anyway, you bought a ball pit. And put it
I
in our
don't
living room.
understand why we're having discussion. I bought the ball pit, so when I'm doing my working in the room, he has some kind of entertainment in the office because he's actually getting so much more interest in what I'm doing for work. Like yesterday, I had this vocal, I was putting it into a session of one of my tracks, and he sat there and he just watched what I was doing. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, dude, there's a ball pit there for you to have fun. And then he was like, oh, okay. He goes in it, gets a bit bored. I then decided to bring the outdoor slide inside my office.
What?
So you could slide into the ball pit and have so much
You're
fun with it.
mental.
Well, I just wanted him
play
to have
with
the
your
best
son.
time.
Why
I would
does
have
he
the
have to
best
do
time
work?
with like my dad and me building dens and stuff. I'm definitely that parent. I'm the crazy.
Go and do the den with
person
him
I
then.
do.
You don't have to do it while you're working. That's the reason why we take it in turns, so we can go and do work, and then when you have him, you don't have to do work.
And then he had this temper tantrum and he couldn't say the word of why it was. I didn't know whether it was a box that I'd bought him, as in the balls came in this box. And he kept going, box, box. So I put the balls back into the box for him to go in the box. And then he kept screaming for things. So I took every item off the table that he was pointing at, showing it to him, presenting him the item. Is it this you want? No! Yeah! I was like, okay, is it this you want? No! And I was like, I'm losing it as a parent right now. I'm actually really calm in those situations. I actually am. I'm like, I am. I was calm on that situation. And then I gave him the iPad and he lobbed the iPad to the other side of the room in anger.
Savage.
So I just was like, nah, not okay.
Yeah.
I got him out of the cardboard box that he wanted me to make into the new ball pit, put the balls back into the ball pit, and I said, I'm taking the cardboard box out and throwing it in the bin. He lost his shite. He was losing it. He was in the ball pit crying. And then I just stopped talking to him, did not acknowledge him. And then the whole "mommy, mommy, mommy" came.
Well, you did the right thing, because what did we learn about tantrums today? We saw a little clip on a podcast that me and Jamie sometimes listen to, the Unplanned podcast. Matt and Abby, you guys are great. Keep doing your thing. It's great stuff. And they had, I think, like a child psychologist or some sort of psychologist on their podcast recently who discussed tantrums. And the reason why children have tantrums is because parents give in. Parents go, okay, you can have the piece of chocolate, because they're fed up of listening to their kids screaming for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And he says, if you stick by the no that you've told them before the tantrum took place, you will eventually extinguish that behavior, and you just got to fight through the tantrum. I'm really sorry. Even if it's in a public place, stick with the no, you can't have it. Sorry, you can't have it. It's not happening. And then eventually they'll learn that no means no.
And we went to Egypt for 5 days to get a little
break,
which was so lovely.
Adult break time.
Thought I was going to die scuba diving.
Yeah, that was
had a
fun.
panic attack.
Well, I mean, okay, establishing the fact that we went to Egypt for a little holiday. It was for your birthday.
Yeah.
So Jamie's birthday is the beginning of April.
Even though I planned it all, Barney was like, "You've planned so much."
She basically went on this website called Love Holidays, and essentially what they do is they package it all up for you, a bit like any other holiday company, and they sort out the flights, the hotel, and so because Jamie did it, she had all the bookings on her emails, and because I was supposed to have organised this really because it was her birthday, I kept having to go to her to be like, wait, so what time's our flight? Oh, do you have our check-in details? Oh, which part of the hotel should we go to? And she was just like, I feel like I've organised my own birthday. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but it's because you booked it.
Do we have transfers? Yes, we have transfers, darling. Okay.
Just want to check, because
I
won't lie.
No, we don't have any restaurants booked.
Egypt is the kind of place where people will gyp you if they can. So we even had a situation on the second night where we tried to get an Uber somewhere, and as the Uber was on its way, the guy sent me a message being like, it's cash, by the way. And I was like, well, no, because the Uber app is charging me this much for this. And he goes, no, $10 cash on top. And I was like, no, doesn't work like that. And he just sent me a message saying, sorry. And so I spoke to the guys at the front desk of the hotel, and they were like, yeah, Uber's really dodgy here. I don't recommend you doing it. So we had to fork out a decent amount of money for the hotel to sort us out with the cab.
£120 for 2 days to just leave the hotel, because we were so far from everything. And
it was a bougie hotel.
Yeah, it was such a poor country. And
no, it's not. Egypt's not that bad. There was a fishing village we were by. Hurghada's a fishing town.
Well, I found it very sad. Like, there was a kid running around trying to sell tissues, and you just feel a bit like, oh, it's so... I found it really sad. Yeah. So we ended up staying in the resort. We were only there for 5 days. So we were there for such a short amount of time, and we just wanted to relax and chill. And we really did that, didn't we?
We did. And then that day that you referenced a couple of minutes ago, we went scuba diving.
Yeah.
I was so excited, a bit scared because I'd seen videos people had put out on social media that there's tiger sharks in Egypt. So I was a little bit worried. But then the guy rested us assured and was like, no, we're not even going to go anywhere far enough out for there to be any tiger sharks, even though the video I got sent was a tiger shark swimming up to the beach. So that was scary.
But he said it wasn't Egypt.
No, he said it, but I think it was somewhere else. It was like, as in a different coastline. Okay. So he was like, look, we're just going to mingle around the coral. We can't go any deeper than 10 meters because you guys don't have a PADI certificate anyway. So we were like, okay, cool, let's go and do that. So we get in our wetsuits, he attaches weights to us, we go in the water, we're sinking. She starts panicking. But
because I kept going like this. I think he
thought
I was heavier than I was. Because he put way too many weights on me, and I couldn't balance it. And then when we would swim over the coral, I literally couldn't maneuver myself, and I was like, please don't knock into the coral, don't hurt the coral. I was so aware of that. Yeah, because it's a live thing.
I know, it's a live thing. So anyway, we're with the guy, he's moseying around. We asked him, we paid an extra €30 so that they could film everything with a GoPro for us. The guy took a GoPro, he was swimming around and showing us fish.
So
he goes under this rock, right? He goes under this rock, and I'm like, oh, there's bound to be something under there. It might be an octopus or something, which, by the way, I'm bloody terrified of. So we get under the rock, he's pointing, so I'm like, okay, let's have a look. I look under this rock, and I see this fish. And basically, when I was younger, I was a little bit weird. I used to read encyclopedias when I was younger. Don't know why. I'd always skip to like the weird things, the weird and wonderful things of this world. What are the most toxic fish in the sea? What's the craziest mountain lion ever found? Or, you know, it sounds like a Guinness World Record book I'm reading, but it's just, you know, these kinds of things. They interest me. And I recognise 2 of these fish, and they are 2 of the 3 most toxic fish in the sea.
Thank
and
God,
we were
I didn't know that.
hovering over them. So we came face to face with a lionfish, which has some of the most toxic venom in the world. And we also came face to face with a stonefish, which given its name. Literally looks like a stone. It's amazing at camouflaging.
I thought
And
he
if you
just had some coral on him.
I know, literally it's camouflage. And if you step on it, it injects you with a venom and you basically die. So I crapped myself. Didn't say anything, obviously. But other than that, the scuba diving was incredible. And we saw a blue-spotted stingray, which is the
so
thing that killed
weird.
Steve Irwin.
I know. And they had such beautiful, like, blue colours through. I've never seen a stingray that has those colours through.
Pretty.
And I've even been in the Caribbean and we went to Stingray Island.
Whoa.
Which is like all stingrays, and they didn't look like that. They were just great. Yeah. So these were beautiful stingrays.
I mean, just
I
beautiful
got attacked by a clownfish though, which
My
was
God,
strange.
Nemo's dad fully went for you.
Yeah, but you know what? Well done.
Yeah.
Well
So
done.
they were in the anemone, like you've seen in Finding Nemo, when they're in the anemone and he can't pronounce it. And essentially, it's like a little, like, it's almost like stinging nettles underwater, basically, and they live in there so that it protects them. So anyway, we went over there. The guy basically, he got his hand and he put it on the rock above the anemone and like shook it slightly, and it made the clownfish come out. And the dad like inspected, and then he kind of went back in, and then he pointed to the rock for Jamie to do it. And so Jamie was like, okay, and she touched it, and this clownfish came out and just started biting her wetsuit. We were like, oh my God! And it was just a mad. We got it on video.
And I thought to myself, I'm so sorry. Please don't have a heart attack because of me. And then all the visions of like Finding Nemo comes back to me, thinking he must be so terrified.
Yeah,
to these huge people with this like spacesuit on under the water. Yeah. But it's incredible because it literally is like a little fish village.
It's hilarious. Like it's honestly so much like what you see in Finding Nemo.
It is. They have their friends. They have their school of friends that they're hanging out with, and he has his house, and they're hanging out there. And I thought to myself as we came back, I was thinking, I wonder what they're doing now. They're having drinks. Are they chilling? You know what I mean?
Sake,
well, you think that, having a 3-course meal.
You come out with the silliest things sometimes.
It's true. I just found it fascinating, but I do think I was going to have a panic attack. I don't know what's happened to me, but since having a baby, I don't know about you guys. If you've had babies, if you are male or female, you're listening to this podcast, has your fear level risen? Because it really has risen for me.
Massively. My fear levels of things that I already had kind of a slight fear of, a slight phobia of, have just extrapolated massively. Like my fear of heights has got way worse. I have something called thalassophobia, which is basically fear of like really big, deep bodies of water. So when we went scuba diving, if we, in Finding Nemo, they have the drop off. Like, you got another drop off? If I went to the drop off and I looked out into just like blue nothingness that eventually gets dark, the deeper you go, I would really crap myself.
Is there any kids that live at the bottom of the drop-off?
I think that's what thalassophobia is, huh?
Is there any fish that live at the bottom of the drop-off?
Of course, loads. Like, you see people that, they go down in those like submarine things, those small ones, and they go to the bottom, and you see those fish that have like the light at the end of their, like stuff like that. They live at the bottom, and there's a lot of transparent fish that live in the deep, deep parts of water because there's no light, so they're transparent.
It's mad, isn't it?
Very odd.
There is a whole other life underneath this in the earth, and it goes so deep. It's almost like we have these little pockets of deepness inside the earth.
The Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the ocean.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 30,000 feet or something.
How close is it to the centre of the earth?
Oh my God, nowhere near. Like, where we've explored in terms of the depths of like the ocean or the depths of the earth is still barely scratching the surface of the actual earth itself.
Do you think we could get into the centre of the earth?
I mean, I don't know if it's like A, like too hot, B, I don't know if it would like spark off volcanic eruptions if you try and dig that deep.
It's so funny. I remember if like a little memory of me in the garden, and my dad says, you could dig your way to China. It was that comment, remember? And I was like, I want to dig myself to a country. So I started digging.
Oh my God.
And then he was like, you having fun there? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, when do you think you'll get to the next country? I was like, I'm going to the Netherlands to see my cousins. He was like, all right then. So off I go.
What
digging,
a great way to make your kids occupied
yeah.
for like 2 hours.
I had
Keep
a parent.
digging.
He was doing some work, and the kid was really bored. Like, what do I do? What do I do? So he ripped up a piece of paper that had like a picture on it from a newspaper, and said, put it back together as like an idea. I was like, thought that's quite good.
This is back when we didn't have tablets.
But then the kid, what he did is he thought it was really, really busy, as in like ripping up all the pieces of the work, like really busy, really hard. And the kid did it really quickly, and he was like, how did you do it so fast? And he was like, well, on the other side is a person, and if you fix the person, it brings the world together. And he thought, what a nice analogy.
That is a really nice analogy.
If you put the person together, you fix the world.
That's true. Jamie, what's going on with Britney Spears at the moment, mate?
Oh my God, she posted something the other day.
Besties with Brit.
With herself looking really friggin' fit. Like,
Oh.
no, okay, not her face, obviously, because of the gaps and all.
Jamie, don't be mean.
No, but you know what I mean.
The Brit star.
The old Brit that we used to know.
I mean, Jamie's
Right.
still, you know, 100% invested in Britney Spears.
Can I show you it? Can I just show you?
And shows me every video. You know, every time she posts something. Apparently, she's called Maria River Red still, or not? Is she?
Okay, like, look at this. Doesn't her body look friggin' banging?
Okay, we're going to have to put this on to our TikToks. Ooh, Brit, what you been doing? Okay, dress is working for her. Boobs look good. Legs look
good.
Pretty decent. Brit's been working out, people.
No,
it's just the really thick eye makeup.
But look at the
She looks
caption.
like she wants to be part of the Addams family. And the caption says, May the 1st, last year, I'm making people uncomfortable with silence. Mate, she's, yeah, okay. Catch it. Whoop.
So, that's
good
what's
catch,
new
babe.
with Brit. I don't think she's going back to music anytime soon.
I mean, the funny thing is, isn't it hilarious how even still, everyone in the music industry would collaborate with her if they could. Even after everything that's gone on, all of the weird signs she's been showing on social media about like possibly her declining mental health. Like, who knows? Isn't it just mad how everyone would still jump at the chance to collaborate with Britney?
She was the biggest pop star in her time. Like, there is no one bigger. I think she's bigger than Madonna.
I saw a clip of a podcast the other day of people talking about like how big certain artists are. And they were saying how if One Direction did a reunion tour, do you think that they would make more money than Taylor Swift's Eras tour that's just happened?
Absolutely not. Also,
you don't think that they would? I think they could.
Okay, because there's 5 of them.
She made 850 million or something on the Eras tour.
Out of that whole world of One Direction.
I feel like One Direction could make, like, if they did a comeback tour, I feel like they'd make over $1 billion. If they, but that's it. But the thing is, it all depends on how many dates you want to do.
All the different...
But it's also to do with how many dates you want to do. If like Harry Styles, if you look at how much money he made on his last tour, when he did 26 days in Madison Square Garden or something,
he's
I think
like
he
the
made
Taylor Swift equivalent.
Yeah, he'd made like 400 or 500 million. I'd say Ed Sheeran's the Taylor Swift equivalent, or Justin Bieber.
No.
The Biebs? How dare you?
Yeah, but
he is my Britney Spears. No, I'm joking. I
so
do like
we're
Justin. I think he's
we're
great.
out of like, okay, so if you had to have a lineup of
talk
pop
to me.
stars,
Yeah.
and they were that kind of like Justin Bieber,
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, Britney, Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, all
Sure.
the biggest
Yeah,
stars
yeah.
that you
The
know, the
beasts.
forefront, the beasts. Who would be the one if you had to listen to one type of music
Oh, God.
for the rest of your life and nothing else? Who would it be?
Oh, in terms of variety, even though I didn't actually like his early stuff at all, and
Let me see if you're going to say
easiness to listen to.
Michael
go.
Jackson?
No.
Oh.
Justin Timberlake.
Just
Because his jazz music and his 2020 Experience album was my favourite album ever.
so freaking
So
good.
I got to say Timberlake, even though I actually Rock Your Body, I actually can't listen to that song. Cry Me a River, I hate it. I don't like any of those early ones he did. But the newer stuff, the jazzy stuff with the big band, love that. That's like totally 180'd my opinion of him.
When I saw him live, obviously because I played with him, but it was so weird because
You played with him?
I
what
played,
sense?
then came off stage, and then the band came and did like an interval set, like a brass band section, and then they left, and then he came on. So it was like there was dancers with me, and then this brass band came on, and then Justin played. It was so surreal watching him there. And seeing his music, hearing his music, his band are the most incredible band I've ever heard. And one of our old team from our company works within him now as like part tour management.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh man, he is just amazing. He's unbelievable. I love him. I love
think it's
every
got-
like the way he looks,
Jesus,
the
all
way
right.
he holds himself, the way his music is. I love his wife. He's a bit like on the Ryan Reynolds vibe. You know, we all love Blake Lively.
Jesus, all right. Why did you marry him? Okay, I tell you what though.
Well, why don't we get married?
That's true. It's that same appeal that Bruno Mars has with his band. You know, the big band
But
thing
then
is
I met
great.
Bruno Mars at a club, though. It wasn't
And he was
maybe
a
the right
douche
place.
face.
He wasn't a douche face at all. He was just, he was completely different to how I would expect Bruno Mars to be.
Apparently he's like 5'4".
Yeah, he's tiny.
Really tiny.
And I kind of was like, oh, I got a bit upset about that.
Okay, well, I mean, it is what it is. You know,
They say never meet your heroes.
I know people that have bumped into like people like Chris Brown and stuff at clubs, and they're like, I don't know if it's my cup of tea. But you know, Yeah, like you said, don't meet your heroes. I've met celebrities that I've been like, oh my God. And then I've gone, oh God, I wish I hadn't met them. But I mean, everyone's allowed bad days.
I would love to meet Britney. Sorry,
Oh
I just
God,
would.
I don't think you should.
I would absolutely
If we had the
love it.
opportunity to meet Britney Spears, I don't think that we should.
She always posts these like kids on her social media, like funny TikToks.
Okay, whoa, backtrack. What?
She posts these funny TikToks of kids doing funny things on her Instagram.
Sure.
And I can't wait for the day she finds Rocket and puts him on social media because I feel like she will.
You would
around the
lose
same-
your bananas if she posted something about us.
She was
and
holding
Rocket.
a baby once, and my friend texted it to me and went, "This looks like your kid." She was like, "This is such a cute baby," and I thought, "Oh my gosh, we're getting closer."
My God,
And then we saw Rocket on BBC. We saw Rocket on Sky News
yesterday.
That
Not
was
yesterday,
so
sorry,
weird.
a few
My
weeks ago.
baby on. There was I wonder. That's probably what Lynn Spears felt when she saw her daughter on TV for the first time. I was like, "Who's my baby's on TV?" I made him.
He was on
Yeah.
TV with me on Sky News.
Thing is, though, I think I
That's
had
fun.
a pushy mother.
Yeah, I mean, Christine would have been a dance mum for sure.
For sure. Whereas, and she was so funny last night watching you. She's like, "There's my son-in-law."
So dance mum elements and things like that. If like we had such a funny time with Christine, but if you have any really funny like dance mum experiences or like
Please
parents
tell
that are pushing,
us. Oh my
please tell
God.
us. Get in touch with us. It's thebankses@gmail.com. That's it's thebankses with 2 S's at gmail.com. Send us in your funniest stories of like pushy parents in the media, or if you've ever had an experience with that. And you know, we want to hear about it because
I love this episode.
I imagine there's loads of people that teach kindergarten that put on like plays, and their parents of the kids are like, "Why is my son not Angel Gabriel? Why is my son not the king? Why is my son Tree 2 that stands in the back?"
Yeah, I think
bet
we had
there's
that
loads of
incident when I was younger. But that's why Jojo
Christine,
Siwa.
the drama queen.
That's why Jojo Siwa was.
Yeah, that's a big thing at the moment. Karma's a bitch.
Yeah.
I should have known
She is
better.
where she is today. She's only 20. I thought she was way older. I
Right,
had no
and
idea.
she's getting so much shit on social
Bless her
media.
heart.
I
Leave
feel
her
really
alone.
bad for her.
Leave Jojo Siwa alone.
She's a human. Anyway, we've loved having you here for this episode. Sorry it's been a bit more short and sweet because we've got loads of guest episodes coming up and they're slightly longer. We really dive deep into those kind of nitty gritty things. Last week you saw us chatting with Siobhan Miller, who was absolutely fantastic. She's from the Positive Birthing Company. Definitely make sure you check that stuff out. And next week we're going to be chatting with someone from Parent Folk Festival, Jamie.
Oh my gosh.
Festival for parents.
Pause for
For
dramatic effect. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking us out on Don't Tell Mum. Also, check us out on youtube.com/@thebankses.
Make
for
sure
our
you
vlogs.
turn around when you do it.
And make sure you turn around and click that subscribe button. Thank
Love
you,
guys.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Shh.